Hello you guys, and welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can get started selling on Teachers Pay Teachers, or TPT. Personally, this is a big passion of mine and is one of the focuses of the Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies brand, trying to build up our store, and it can be a really great source of supplemental income, and I believe can also make you a better teacher. So with these things, I'm definitely not coming from the perspective of, one of the master sellers on Teachers Pay Teachers. I haven't hit any of the giant benchmarks yet, but I have been very impressed with what's happened so far. And if you are debating about whether or not you want to get involved with Teachers Pay Teachers, I highly recommend it, and I hope this video will motivate you and make you feel like you are able to do that. Because as far as a couple, basics here, I think that in teaching, and this is just in my own experience, but in teaching, there are a lot of strengths that each of us bring to the table, and everyone has a different teaching style. Now, with this style, we all kind of figure out a way that works best for us, but a lot of the things that we come up with, they are objectively very good things and positive to the classroom. It doesn't mean that everything you do has to be perfect or has to be your own idea, but I think we all have specific things that we bring to our classroom, or strategies or activities that we bring in our classrooms, and many other educators could benefit from these. I know myself, especially in times where you're in a pinch, especially like early on, or if you have new curriculum, sometimes you're just like, oh, what am I gonna do to teach this particular topic? And you can't think of the idea you're looking for, or you're short on time. And those are also times where, as a buyer, coming to Teachers Pay Teachers can be a really helpful option. So I think that it's a great platform, and even if you feel like you only have a few items that would be worth selling on it, I hope you'll give it a chance. In this video, I'll talk us through some different stages while also showing you on my computer so you can see a first look. In terms of why you aren't already on Teachers Pay Teachers, I'm guessing it's either because you don't actually think that you can do well with it, or that you don't think it's going to be lucrative enough. Maybe you just feel overwhelmed about how to even get started. Maybe you feel like, well, my stuff's not gonna sell, my stuff's not good enough. But I think that all of those things are not true. Even with very few resources, you can do very well. I think that your stuff is good enough that you have, and that, things sell. Obviously, like, you don't sell everything. I don't sell everything. I still have a lot to put up, actually, but regardless. So I wanna jump in today and kind of explain how to get yourself set up and some tips about it. Now, as far as my own journey on Teachers Pay Teachers so far, I personally started it a couple years ago, but I still haven't done a lot in terms of the number of products available. We actually, Jake and I, we have it together, and he uploads ancient world history resources, and I upload any of the classes I've taught, basically US history, either 7th or 8th grade, world geography, I think I only have one Spanish resource, but those resources are uploaded to the site, and we work together on that. And we actually only have 14 things up, which is not that much in the big scheme of things. However, with just 14 products, and several of which are very recent, as in, like, I put them up in October or even early November, these 14 products for sale have generated over $600 of revenue for us. And so when you break that down, that's a pretty decent profit per item. And I think the greatest thing about Teachers Pay Teachers is that, yes, there is some work you do up front, but then all of the money that keeps coming in is passive income. So not only can your resources be very helpful to other teachers, but you can make money from this ongoing. And you don't necessarily know how well certain things will do. Jake and I came up with this fun and interactive first day of school activity that kind of ties in social studies with a more traditional icebreaker. And we made 3 versions, a US history version, a world history version, and a geography or world cultures version. And each one of them have all sold very well. We have made, I think, about $200 just from those 3 products alone. And it was something we put together in, maybe a half hour, maybe a full hour when you update it for TPT and make it look all fancy. But that is something for us that's been very interesting and exciting to watch, just because you really don't know how items are going to do, and some can do incredibly well. It's recognizing your strongest resources and the things that you're doing in your classroom and being able to design them to be used for other educators. I do find that in addition to the money side of things, it does make me a better teacher, because when you're uploading a resource to Teachers Pay Teachers, you're really going the extra mile to make sure it's your best possible work. And then who benefits? The kids, because you have a top-notch resource that the kids will also benefit from, having clear directions, organized materials. So there have been several times where a product I've uploaded to Teachers Pay Teachers has come in very handy, even when I wasn't expecting it, and the resources were very well laid out. So this is where I'm going to take you along on using a screencast on my computer, so you can follow along better and see what the process looks like for me. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up an account. I'm going to talk about actually creating the product and creating the product listing. So if you feel like you have no idea about where to start but want to, especially we've got winter break coming up here, then that is my goal, to really help you feel confident about all of these. And this is information that I feel like I've learned over time, and so I'm happy to present you with it so you can kind of hit the ground running right away.
All right, guys, so we are going to be getting started today. I want to show you about how you can set up your account and some things you can think about, and then we'll go through more of the product development stages. So the first thing that's going to happen is that you need to create a seller account. So with that, as far as joining the community, I do have a link that I'll put in the description field. It is an affiliate link, so if you do sign up using that link, I do get a small percentage of the money Teachers Pay Teachers makes from your items, so it doesn't actually hurt you at all. And as an incentive, if you do sign up using my link, I can see who does that, and I will be able to work with you, and you can use me as a resource if you need advice or assistance, or you want me to take a look at some of your products and give suggestions, anything like that. Please let me know. If I see that you sign up through my affiliate link, I'm happy to help support you. Of course, you can always leave comments and feedback on this video, but I just wanted to say that. So through this link, you'll notice for becoming a seller, you've got two options. You can be either a basic seller account or a premium seller account. Now, as a basic seller, you'll get roughly half of the money that you're earning from your product. So if you have a product for $5, you'll get roughly $2.50. There are some things that kind of adjust that, but for the most part, it's about 50%. And then for the premium seller account, you have some additional benefits, but the payout rate is 80%. So when you are selling things, you'll get roughly 80%. Now, the premium seller account is $60 per year. And so there's definitely a space and time where you have to decide, is it worth it to upgrade to the premium seller account? We are currently premium sellers, and we've been that for, I think, about a year and a couple months now. The first year and a half I was on Teachers Pay Teachers, I didn't really have that much up for sale, but I just kept the free account. And then I actually, the first time I realized that I should upgrade, we had a really great August and September, and I realized I'd missed out on a lot of money by not having the premium seller account. So at that point, I switched over, and it's been very profitable since. It does break down to about $5 per month. And so once you get to the point where you're making several sales per month, which for many doesn't take that long, especially if you have a larger number of items in your store, then that is the time to switch over. So that's just the main page. Since I already have an account, I'll just show you my account. But one thing to think about when you're first getting set up is what you want your name to be. So I do recommend not using your exact full name, just because in Google search, let's say you've got students who are looking up your name. I feel like that's more of a thing these days, maybe. They might find that, and let's say you have a unit test or something from the previous year that you uploaded on Teachers Pay Teachers. You don't want the students to be buying your materials and then using them to cheat on the test or whatever it is. I mean, it depends what kind of resources you're using, but that's just a little disclaimer. I would say try to avoid using your full name depending on what materials you are using. So I'm going to take you through on mine now. I'm going to go ahead and view my store page. Now, when you first get started, you want to think about a free download that you can use. So what I recommend is try to find something that's a high quality item of yours, but it's something that is not an incredibly large value that you're missing out on. So we have actually a student inventory for back to school. It gives your buyers a chance to see the quality of product that you have if they are thinking about buying a product from you. And that can also be a great way to bring new buyers to your store and also reward people who are following you. So I've got a little banner here. There are some featured items here, and I just got mine in order from most recent, but you can see here we got a lot of products, a few with our old style of design here, but most of them are updated with new design. And you just have to kind of look at what products you have and try to figure out what your specific focus will be. Jake and I, since we together are both social studies teachers and we've covered different subjects, I do U.S. history, and at my past school also did world geography, and I do Spanish as well, even though I don't really have resources for sale from those. But Jake does ancient world, so we have our store color coded. So for example, there's this student growth, pre-test and post-test, $5. That's a bigger file. I've got primary, secondary source activity. We've got Christopher Columbus mock trial. So there's just a variety of products here. I'll go into a little bit more detail in a bit about how the products are set up, but you can kind of follow along and get a sense of, there can be a huge variety of products available. When it's time to create a product, I've actually found a lot of success using PowerPoint. I wasn't doing it at first, but I definitely wish I was. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a sample template here to show you. All right, so I've opened up PowerPoint here. What I do is have a couple saved draft templates that I use to create my products. And so I've got my title page here and just a quick thank you for your purchase slide. But what I love about PowerPoint is that people are right. I was studying the experts and just using Microsoft Word, or now I use a lot with Google Docs, but you have so much more flexibility with design. Maybe you can relate. There's so many times on Microsoft Word where I was trying to format something and it wasn't working how I wanted it to. So as far as how to set up a title page like this, obviously you probably won't be using this exact same style, but if I want a new page, I'm going to go to new slide. I should also say for my formatting, I went to File, Page Setup, and then I set up the width and height for 8.5 by 11 to be like a standard sheet of paper. And when you create a new slide, I just get rid of the text boxes that are there because we're not going to need those for our work. So I've gotten rid of those. Now, let's say we want to make it look something kind of like this title page here. So first, if I am doing a title page, maybe I'm just going to format my background. We'll just pick a color here. Doesn't really matter which one. I'll just make it an orange color. Now, let's say I want it to be just a border, and on the inside, I want it to be white. So I'm going to adjust the size later. I'm going to say solid fill, but go to white. Okay, X out of that. Now I can stretch this out a bit more. Again, I'm not creating anything legitimate right now. I'm just going through sample here. And then you can add your text boxes where we want. Let's say I want like a heading here. Let's say I'd put my title. All right. Now make that bigger. I did purchase one font. There are fonts that you can buy on Teachers Pay Teachers. And, at first I was like, there's so many free fonts anyway, I can use that. Why would I need to switch over to that? But honestly, it does make things look better. Like, I just love this font here. And so as I'm adjusting things, it just has a more professional look. And then I have a little logo here on the front. And whenever I'm designing my products, I have my main title here, and then I put together some like short little blurb that relates to the product. So if I just go back to my store here, for example, if you can see here, this is one of our best sellers, first day of school activity for world geography, fun icebreaker printable to get to know your students. So I kind of tell you right on the front what it is so there's not confusion. Obviously, people learn more about it when they actually open up the file and see the description about it, because I have grade levels and I have a full detailed description there of the product. So that's very important too. But something that grabs their attention, and then specifically going through this, having your information written out there. I will actually go through more depth on this and actually show you start to finish the creation of a product in a next video. But for right now, that's just kind of the overview. And playing around with PowerPoint a little bit, setting your page up this way, I think you'll find that there's a lot you can do. I mean, you can definitely, of course, insert titles, or not insert titles. I mean, you can do that too. You can insert tables. So let's say you wanted to make some task cards or something. You would just kind of stretch the table as big as you need, or if you wanted to make some flashcards. So I'll be uploading some later this break that are country flashcards that I've used. I call them GeoPower. Obviously, I don't want the header row. I don't want banded rows. So, I mean, I can adjust. There's a lot more formatting that you can use to adjust things, but regardless, that's a way that you can make cards. I even have some that are dotted lines. So I'll take you through that more in a future video, but there's a lot of flexibility you have on PowerPoint. So finally, let's say you've got, cancel. Let's say you've got your product done and you're happy with it. What you can do then is on PowerPoint, go to File, and then we're going to, I usually go print and then save it as a PDF. But then also you can go to export. And when you go to export, you can actually, I won't actually do it here because I don't want to create this file. But when you go to export, you can actually save them as JPEGs. And when you do that, you can either decide to save every slide or save the current slide, and those images will be easy to put together for like a preview image, or to be able to, just upload thumbnails easier. It makes it so much easier. So again, there will be a future video where I take you through the product creation, but I just wanted to give you this overview right now. All right, guys, so the last thing we'll do then is to go to, let's say we want to create a new product. If I go back to my dashboard, I can go there and then add new product. We'll do that. So I'm going to be adding or uploading a resource for this. And then they do have an upload checklist you can use. I personally don't use that anymore, but you'll upload your product file, assure that there's no copyright violation, upload a preview file if it is not a free file, and I'll go over more of that later on. You'll add your title and description. Make sure you are as thorough as possible, because not only does this information here matter in terms of the search rankings of your product, but also I just feel like you want to make sure it's as clear as possible for buyers what they're getting. Because I know I'm not personally someone who's bought a ton from Teachers Pay Teachers, but there have been a few things I've purchased where I needed something kind of last minute, so I took somewhat of a risk, and sometimes it ends up being exactly what you want, but sometimes it wasn't super clear, and then you kind of regret the purchase. So we want to prevent that from happening. We want to make our customers really happy, and so making sure you're maybe even over descriptive can be helpful to help them know what exactly they're getting. Choose what type of resource type it is. Also, pro tip, if you're not sure what you're going to upload, you can actually use this to help you. Choose grade levels, subject areas. You can put standards in if you can. That's definitely recommended. And pricing, we'll talk about more in a future video. Thumbnail images, and then for the most part, you're good. So this is just a quick overview because there's really a lot more that we can get into, but the next video that goes up on this channel is going to be a specific of how I actually make a product from start to finish. I'll be doing a lot of that here over break. So thank you guys.
All right, guys, so that is my Teachers Pay Teachers tutorial, I guess. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Also, I am putting a sign-up link in the description if you would like to use my referral code. And anyone who signs up for a Teachers Pay Teachers store using my referral code, I will basically give you my contact information and help coach you through the process, and I can help answer any questions, look over things for you. I'm very happy to help, and especially if you're new, I am happy to kind of help coach you through that process. So that is my Teachers Pay Teachers overview. If you enjoy social studies related content or just other teaching content, teacher vlogs, all of that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies, and you can check out some of our past videos here. Thanks, guys.